Ah, yes, 'tis the hamster. 5 minutes late, but what the hell? I'm starting to feel like MGTOW Outlaw. I get up at the crack of 11. Oh my God. So, can't spend a lot of time streaming this weekend, but roger that. You got work to do. Yeah. And because Brandon Trueblood wanted to take me to lunch today and, have his way with me, that bastard. But I got to work. I got some shit I got to get done. So, Tom Laundry is here. I'm not going to be able to read a lot of comments, guys, because my computer, although I am using the headset mic, so I can actually read the comments when I go, well, wait a minute. Maybe I can. Maybe you can do it. Let's see if we can bring the screen. Oh, yeah, we can do this. Sure. Mathagapa Appa. Mathagapa Appa. Okay, I can read it. I can do it. Oh my God, I can actually do things at the same time. All right, there we go. All right. Stone Reaper is here. Hello. Mouth Agape Ape, who is it hot still by you, Mouth? It's fucking hot down here. It's like 90 to 95 degrees in St. Louis. Oh, St. Louis, Missouri, United States of America. 11:06 Central Time, Saturday morning. It is already the 30th of September, if you can frickin' believe it. Okay. So this is a little bit of a long and winding story, but I think you'll find it interesting. Doug Edwards is here. Hello, Doug. Drubius, SCE, Master Wrench is in the building. Hello. Wrench away, sir. Good to see ya. All right. 57 degrees and overcast. Man, I want your weather, bro. I was looking at the temperature in Denver yesterday. It was like 65 and like, oh, I want to go back to Colorado. Anyway, men's rights. So let's get into it here a little bit. Believe it or not, an MP in England has proposed that there should be, along with the female, part of the government to help women out with their thing, there should also be a men's thing that the government, hey, men have these problems, etc. And of course, you can imagine what the feminazis had to say about such a crazy idea. Oh my God. It's interesting because you see all the time, well, men need to be more expressive with their feelings. They need to talk about their problems. And then when you come and talk about the problems that you see men facing, or even yourself, shut the hell up, ya baby. Suck it up, buttercup. It's just, oh, the contradictions. Oh my God. Zombro is here. Hello, Zombro, Drubius, and I saw you sneak in, Sotnar, Slancha. All right. So this is from 1 year ago. Does the UK need a minister for men?
Because we're currently being put...
Of course not. Of course not.
Under, we're seeing politicians put under pressure to define what a woman is. But no one's actually asking what a man is. And until we sort that question, we can't really go much further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, maybe you don't know what a man or a woman is. What's your name? Jean Hatchett. Ms. Hatchett, maybe you don't know what a man or a woman is, but most of the rest of the world knows. But way to avoid answering the question. See, that's what these fembots do. They're very good at what they do, mostly.
I think it's important that we address the issues for men, male suicide, for example, which is at a terrible high and significantly higher than for women. I acknowledge that.
As we'll find out here on a different video, which we'll get to. Did you know the leading cause of death among men 50 years old and under is self-deletion? Did you know that? That's fucking amazing. Wow. If that were the shoe on the other foot there, if it were the women, I think we'd have multiple ministries trying to get, or whatever, ministers to go out there and try to help, right? As you would expect, the normal civilization would do when there's such a lopsided problem. Except if the problem affects men. And we got a different story.
Concern for that. But we also have to acknowledge the issue with men. And, we have...
I think she's related to Molly. See, she's related to Molly.
A real issue with men murdering people, but specifically men murdering women. There's a rape conviction rate of less than 1% in this.
Yeah, and again, this bullshit comes up. Okay, did you hear what she said? All right, go ahead.
There's a rape conviction rate of less than 1% in this country.
So what? Again, this is playing with the numbers. And evidently in England, and I don't know all the gory details, apparently there's a very low conviction rate. Now, how do they come up with this number? I mean, if it's a real number, that's terrible. You know, what's going on with the law enforcement system and the judicial system in England? You know, if 99 out of every 100 women come up and say they were raped and only one prosecution moves forward, that's a problem. Now. Or it could be we're getting that number from the number of reported or not reported, but imagined by the feminists. Well, we believe there should be this many, and we have all of these things we're imagining out of whole cloth, and in reality, only this many gets prosecuted. I don't know. What I know is I think we're getting a bullshit statistic. Do they really think that at 100 women go to the police station and say, this thing happened to me? Do you think they just say to 99 of these women, go away, we don't have time? What were you drinking? What were you wearing? Bullshit. It's not happening. And by God, if it is happening, they better get their shit together, because that's terrible. But I tend to agree that the numbers are exaggerating. Feminists never do that. See the wage gap for the examples. Go on.
And so we have a high proportion of men who are raping women. So I don't want to go down that traditional.
Yeah. The rapists who are raping women, yes.
Feminist.
Not a high proportion of men. It's a high proportion of men who rape women, who don't believe that that's a problem, where 99% of the rest of the men, if it's not 99.7%, believe that is not a good thing to do. But go ahead and lump all the men in there if you want to, because that's what feminists do. Go on.
Let's just, when we're addressed with this issue of a minister for men, just smash into men. I think, there are issues there to be addressed. But
I mean, let's just say all this assaulting stuff, the rape. Let's say all that is true. Wouldn't a ministry for men, an organization in the government, wouldn't that be part of their charter, is to figure out why all these men are doing these bad things to women? Wouldn't that be part of it? Aside from the other thing? No. If we have a ministry of men, it's going to take the focus away from women, and plus men are all privileged. And we all know that because I'm an indoctrinated fembot. Patriarchy. Yeah. Sorry.
When we're talking about this, we've also got to look at why certain things can't happen that would solve issues for men around this question of what a man is. And so if you've got the case that it is unsafe for men to go into male space, then if they are wearing a dress or lipstick, for example.
I mean, clearly we know what her bias is, right? She's all about the transmissions. Oh my God, what if a man goes into... Oh, fuck off. We're not talking about that bullshit. Molly Hatchet. Go on.
Why is that impossible? Why must they then seek refuge with female people in female space? And I think...
Oh, here, Satnar, let me... I don't want to, derail this into this conversation right now, but... Okay. Woman goes to police. This guy did bad things to me. Okay. Do you have evidence to support that? Did you go to the hospital? Did you get tested? Do you have any bruising? Something? No. What happened was we were alone in his room and there were no witnesses. Okay. So you're saying that he did something to you. He's going to say he didn't. And there are no witnesses. And there's no rape kit. And there's no hospital visit. What are we to do? Put this in front of a jury. What are they going to say? Where's your evidence? So I'm sure a lot of that 99 is probably something like that. And again, I have ultimate, never-ending sympathy for women who have been attacked in this way. Let them get justice, but you gotta provide some kind of proof other than your word. Except, well, if you're Russell Brand, cancel his ass. Do it.
You know, there are some issues right at the heart of this with this kind of gender identity ideology, which...
And that's the problem with the R-word type crimes. Typically, there's no one there but you and he. Right? And that's probably why you shouldn't meet strangers at the bar and go home and fuck. Because there are rapists out there, ladies. There are men who do this and they think it's fine. Those people need to be in jail. Okay? All right, let's go.
Which pose questions for both men and women. But until we can...
I mean, did she actually ever say anything, Thumper? I mean, I'm just hearing a bunch of... It's not saying anything interesting.
That question, we really can't talk about a minister for men because we don't know what men are.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fundamental point. Mike, I'm assuming...
you don't know what a man is, apparently. Gene Hatchett.
That you're a bloke, but how do you actually think we should go about this idea?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm a bloke. I've got a dick down in my pants. Hey.
Idea of a minister for men.
Well, I mean, for a start, I've never heard such complete nonsense as I've just heard, even from a feminist.
Mike Buchanan, he either is the leader or was the leader or co-leading with Elizabeth Hobson, the Justice for Men and Boys and the women who love them party in England. I think they've changed their name at some point, but they're trying to do this work in England, and thank God they are. Go ahead.
Should there be a minister for men? Of course there should. The idea of having a minister for women, and by the way, there are 3 ministers. There's a minister for women and equalities, a minister for women, and a minister for equalities. Jobs for the girls or what? I mean, talk about...
It's only equality with respect if women are underrepresented in something. Well, you got a problem. If women are overrepresented in something, hey, everything's fine. Fuck it, hey. Beautiful. It's a quality thing. Oh, wow, we really didn't mean that, did we?
Non-jobs, but there are so many areas where men's rights are assaulted, and I'm very pleased to be speaking with a woman whose website tells me that she is very interested in men's violence against women.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any of that. That's terrible. You know, don't go beat women up. What are you doing, guys? Come on. But of course, Buchanan's going to make a point here shortly. Vidlaw says the Commissar Minister of Equality. It is 1984 shit, really, isn't it? The Ministry of Equality. Oh my God. Is it next to the Ministry of Love?
Nothing on there at all that I could see about women's violence against men. And I can tell you, I'd be happy to read out a few sentences which show that intimate partner violence in heterosexual couples, in the majority of those couples, the violence is mutual.
Look at the smug puss on this woman. Oh, you're fucking lying. You're an evil man. Oh my God, Ian Blades is here. Hello, Ian.
Okay, so sometimes a man starts, sometimes a woman does. But in the 40% or so where the violence is one way, always one way, the perpetrator is twice as likely to be the woman as the man, and the victim twice as likely to be the man as the woman.
Look at her. This guy's full of shit. Statistics and reality, we don't need any of that here in feminist world.
And this has been known for decades. And,
so,
and
Mike,
the best place
in your opinion, this is long.
Yes. Talk to Aaron Pritzi, who figured this out in the 1970s. Shh. She's unpersoned now.
Overdue. Then we should have done this years ago.
Yes, I mean, to have a minister for women is makes about as much sense as having a minister for rich people.
Okay, Mike, that was pretty good. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to another video. This one is on is it GB News or it's some other? Where the hell is it? There it is. Okay, I'm going to steal this from the the podcast of the Lotus Eaters here. because I can't find the raw video anywhere else. So this happened in the Times Politics Today or something on that order. And this is what happened this week. And men are being removed from their jobs. Now, I'm not going to say that Laurence Fox, what this man says, I guess Laurence Fox is an actor, comedian, a provocateur. You know, he kind of stirs things up there at GB News. Well, he used to. Until he said some stupid shit. All right, go on.
Issues such as reducing male suicide. Would that be something you'd be in favour of?
Well, what's interesting about that is the hostility it sometimes faces whenever it comes up. I saw a programme where there was like a feminist academic and a Lib Dem MP, and they were so hostile to this idea. And I thought, if you flipped those things, i.e. that it's the biggest cause of death for men under 50 is suicide, men are less likely to go to the doctors, you know, men are less likely to maintain friendships. If that was for women, we'd have to look at, well, why is society making that happen? Where
I can agree with the guy in the toupee. Thumper, oh, you're in one of those moods again, huh? How'd your race go, by the way? Over the, was it last weekend or this weekend? I can't remember. Well, I hope it was fun.
It's with men, the argument is often, why are they doing that to themselves? Totally wedded to the idea, but the hostility towards the idea, I find it instructive.
Ava?
I think that it feeds into the culture a little bit, this Minister for Men argument. Like, in my mind, I think there should be a Minister for Mental Health, which would be all.
And this is the the protagonist, Ava something Evans. She's supposedly a journalist, but
towards the idea, I find it instructive.
Ava?
I think that it feeds into the culture a little bit, this Minister for Men argument. Like, in my mind, I think there should be a Minister for Mental Health, which would be all-encompassing. I mean, you've got something like 7 million children waiting for prescriptions for mental health at the moment. It's a crisis that's endemic throughout the country. Yeah,
so here she's deflecting. Well, we don't need a ministry for men. We need a ministry that, You see, this young woman here, I'm speculating, but I might not be too far away from reality. She has been so indoctrinated in the Kool-Aid. I mean, she's got feminism Kool-Aid runs in her veins here. Women are always victims. There's nothing, men have no problems, especially white men. Because of the patriarchy, and why should men need a ministry of men? Because of the You've heard the fucking story. We don't have to beat the dead horse. Go ahead.
Not specific to men. And I think, a lot of ministers kind of bandy this about to sort of, I'm sorry, but make an enemy out of women. I think, not you, and I don't think your book is. I don't know.
Oh, excuse me. Why would we be making an enemy out of women if the government of the United Kingdom put in a ministry for men, to help men with their mental health issues, homeless, suicide, maybe, divorce, and how do you deal with that kind of thing, alcoholism, drug abuse. I mean, most of the homeless in England and around in the United States certainly are men. Isn't there something we can do about that? No, I'm sorry, we could, but we're spending money housing illegal aliens in hotels in New York City. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, those fucking men, some veterans, some drug addicts, some mental patients. Fuck them. Let them freeze to death in the subway. American citizens. Fuck them. Go on.
I don't accept that. I don't think it is to make an enemy. If we looked at during COVID, men were literally more likely to die from COVID. And I don't really.
Now, listen carefully to this bullshit coming your way shortly.
I want to cast myself as a meninist or one of these guys from
you should, sir.
Because that's not who I am, but I do find it interesting that sometimes the arguments tend to throw it
back.
But
who was doing all the work during COVID? A lot of the time, if you
men with essential jobs and women with essential jobs during the so-called pandemic. Oh God, that's another. Oh God, I'm going to remind you now because I'll forget. There is a documentary out there, and a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, hamster! Oh my God, Michael Moore is a fucking leftard. He's an idiot." But he does a pretty damn good documentary. I have to admit that. I watched Fahrenheit 9/11 this morning, actually. I found it on the phone. It's free, right? And Michael Moore is he's a leftist fucking whatever. But he puts together an interesting documentary with respect to how the U.S. after 9/11 got involved in Iraq, right? I mean, I thought, retrospect, George W. Bush was a piece of shit. Okay.
Piece of shit. There, I said it.
But what's interesting, aside from the rest, I mean, a lot of it is bullshit. I mean, you're obviously smart enough to figure out what's real and not. But it's interesting that this was in 2004 or 2005 when he did this documentary. He brought up the hanging Chad, Al Gore, George W. Bush thing in the year 2000. Oh, there were protests in the streets. There were people mobbing the president's fucking limousine in Washington on Inauguration Day. But I guess it's only bad if Republicans do it. Now, of course, the Democrats at the time, in 2001, they weren't tearing down the fucking Capitol and they weren't breaking shit. Right? So obviously it's not the same, but it's similar, isn't it? Perfectly okay if the Democrats lose and they want to protest with the Republicans. No. Anyway, yes, during COVID, essential personnel were required to go to work. Doctors, nurses, emergency personnel, probably the military, truck drivers, people who had to keep the thing going, right? A lot of men driving trucks, a lot of women being doctors and nurses. So, I mean, it wasn't just women staying home being burdened with taking care of their own children. Oh my God. Like I say about this woman, she's so steeped in this bullshit. She can't escape. Let's listen to it again.
As a Meninist or one of these guys from the Manosphere, because that's not who I am. But I do find it interesting that sometimes the arguments tend to throw it back.
But who was doing all the work during COVID? A lot of the time, if you looked into people's households, it was the women who were taking on the laundry, the school care.
Oh, God forbid you need to go and take care of your own children during a goddamn pandemic. Well. I'm sure there were some men that, too, were taking care of the laundry and their children because they couldn't go to work. Wah!
Any of that, what I'm saying, that there are specific issues that men face that might warrant specific attention. I mean, literally, the biggest killer of men under 50 is suicide. That is an arresting statistic. And if that doesn't warrant specific attention, mental health is an umbrella issue.
I have to say that is also because women are unsuccessful. That is a lot of feeds into that statistic.
Okay, but so what you're saying is, even with respect to self-deletion, men are better than women. Oh my God. Did I just say that? I did. Chaos for You is here. Hello. Firal Ravage. Why are they complaining about taking care of kids? Exactly. This fucking argument I don't get. Oh my God, women were burdened with taking care of their own fucking children. What the fuck? Oh my God. Anyway, let's go back. Come on.
Suicide. That is an arresting statistic. And if that doesn't warrant specific attention, mental health is an umbrella issue.
I have to say that is also because women are unsuccessful. That is a lot of feeds into that statistic.
But it feels like, it just doesn't feel like you've got any space for this idea that men might have unique challenges that...
No, she doesn't, sir. She doesn't. Men are all privileged under the feminist orthodoxy, the feminist Bible. All men are privileged, especially white men. All women are oppressed, no matter what. And so if men have problems, that's their fucking problem. They need to go figure it out. Women, however, are oppressed by the evil patriarchy, and the government has to come. Oh my God.
The face of it. And the problem is, even as I'm saying this, in my mind, it's like I've got out the violin, and I don't want to be.
Read the book,
I don't want to be this guy, because that's part of the problem. Is because you're encouraged at one level, is men need to talk about their problems more, and then the moment you do it, you're like, all right, but not quite so often, and not quite so loud. So
now let's just go back and listen to that again, because this is the absolute fucking truth. Men hold their emotions in, and their feelings, and their of course, they don't know we talk to our buddies, right? Fixing a car on a Saturday. Hey, I got this thing. Is like, what's the matter? Well, you all right? Let's have a beer. Let's talk about it. No. Women don't see that, so it doesn't exist, right? Go.
I don't want to be this guy, because that's part of the problem. Is because you're encouraged at one level, is men need to talk about their problems more, and then the moment you do it, you're like, all right. Not quite
not quite that much information
so often, and not quite so loud. So like you say, the book is more light-hearted than that, but it certainly goes around the.
So I want to say the original pretext for Laurence's segment, which is coming up in a second.
Okay, I don't want to make this last forever, but the the link to The Lotus Eaters podcast is below. So, anyway, Laurence Fox, who I have heard of, but I really don't know. I think he's an actor. He's a comedian. Again, as I said, he's a provocateur. You know, he says stupid shit because he's trying to get attention, right? And he's kind of on the right. So obviously he's a target to get rid of. And get rid of, they did. Now, what is he going to say here? I don't agree with attacking her personally. That's ad hominem attack. I agree with attacking her ideas, which are bullshit, and open to attack. But he goes for the fucking ad hom here. But or is it ad wom? Go ahead.
We're past the watershed, so I can say this. Show me a single self-respecting man that would like to climb into bed with that woman ever, who wasn't
basically saying I wouldn't fuck her. I wouldn't fuck her with yours, boy. I wouldn't even do that with yours, man. That's pretty low, right? That's trash. Come on now. Come on.
That would like to climb into bed with that woman ever, who wasn't an incel, who wasn't a cucked little incel. That little woman has been fed, spoon-fed oppression day after day after day after day, starting with the lie of the gender wage gap. And she sat there, and I'm going like, if I met you in a bar and that was like sentence 3, chances of me just walking away are just huge. We need powerful, strong, amazing women who make great points for themselves. We don't need these sort of feminist 4.0. They're pathetic and embarrassing. Who'd want to shag that?
Who 346 says, I wouldn't stick her with Riggs's dick. Yeah. Chaos for you. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So you heard what Mr. Fox said. I think it's kind of low, classless. I wouldn't fuck her, right? This is kind of like, reflecting back on Sargon of Akkad said something similar, a little more harsh, about some MP and got into a big stink a few years ago. It's not what you do, right? You don't attack the person, attack the argument, right? But Fox, well, he didn't do that. Anyway, so this is Laurence Fox. This is Dan Wooton, who he's a presenter on this GB network in Great Britain. They canceled him too. I mean, watch. It's not like he agreed with him.
Oh, Laurence. Well, look,
he's laughing. It's like, I can't believe you fucking said that, Laurence. Come on now.
Sorry, I'm just going to provide a touch of balance from her, because she did actually respond to this earlier today, saying that she regretted her comments, but she didn't apologize. Yes. So there you go. And she's a very beautiful woman, Laurence.
Yeah. She's pretty and all that. Okay, great. So Wooton, the presenter, the host, and Fox are gone. And apparently Calvin Robinson, the Reverend Calvin Robinson, who also has a show or had a show on GB News, gone. For what fucking reason? He wasn't involved in it. He's gone too. See, it doesn't matter. Once they get their target set on you, Russell Brand, Laurence Fox, whatever, what he said was kind of nasty. I agree. Now, I understand his point. He could have probably come up with some better words. Maybe he had a few, vodka and tonics or something prior to this live shot. I don't know. But he could have said something like, I mean, this woman is this and that. And, who would want to be around someone like this, who has this mental block that they can't see anything other than women are oppressed all the time in every situation? But he didn't. Now he lost his job. Now, the next question would be, is this woman a radical fembot? Let's go to Piers Morgan. Go ahead.
She is still working at that school. Douglas.
If I may, first of all, Ava, rather unfortunately.
This is the same person here. Ava Evans is her name.
You misspoke earlier. when she said that the schoolgirl in question was acting out a fallacy. I think you meant a fantasy, but actually she is acting out a fallacy.
Thanks ever
a
so
fallacy.
much. But do you know what I find fascinating?
Do
you know what's fascinating about
which
Douglas?
has been propagated.
I mean, you can see it in her eyes. In my opinion, she is a man-hating fembot. She hates men. I mean, that's obviously her right to do that. If she wants to hate men, that's her business. Does she deserve a little bit of scathing commentary? Maybe.
A fallacy which has been propagated by gender ideologues and is doing profound damage to gay people, among others, in our society, as well as women.
Like
and let me explain very quick. Let me explain very quickly why. I can't quite hear you. I can hear you muttering something.
Douglas Murray is so good with his verbal freaking sharp knives. She doesn't even understand she's being flayed by this guy. That's what's fucking funny about Douglas Murray. You don't even know when he's fucking ripping your guts out verbally, not physically. All right, go ahead.
People, among others, in our society, as well as women.
I mean, stupid people don't. What are you saying? Are you saying maybe?
Like
let me explain very quick. Let me explain very quickly why. I can't quite hear you. I can hear you muttering something. Let me quickly explain why. A poll that just got published in the United States showed that among the general population, support for gay marriage has been starting to decline in the last year. Why is that? It's because the arguments that actually brought about liberal rights for all minorities in the last few decades have started to get turned on their head and turned against people. What is the source of that? It is the gender ideology movement. What is the tripwire for the general public? It is children. It is people learning that their children are being taught nonsensical things.
Yeah, unreality. Kind of like some people would say,
like religion, right? But you're not teaching that, are you?
No. It's only the sexual stuff. My God, man.
It is being seen by the wider public, most of whom are heterosexual and don't need to identify as cis or anything else. It is being seen from that vantage point as the LGBTQIA plus movement losing control of itself. And so a backlash is starting. And the backlash is coming because people are lying to children and are using children for medical experiments.
Kind of like Mengele, but, whatever. It's Trump that's the Nazi. I keep forgetting.
There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing that should cause levity in that.
I mean, look at her. It's like, oh my God, what are you talking? Oh my God, it's a spat.
It should be treated by adults seriously.
Yes. We are adults. We are meant by God or nature, evolution. We are to guide the young people as best we can to not be stupid. You know why? Because we're fucking adults. That's what adults do. That's what parents do. And that's what they want to remove. They want to clive, put a crevasse between parents and their children. Let the state raise them. Kind of like what they were saying in the Communist Manifesto. I know. It's looking crazy.
Okay,
no,
Ava.
So, Douglas, it's really important, actually. All of that point that you've just brought up, it's very on brand for you because, you like to stoke fear. You've actually made a career out of it. I'll take you back to your book, The Strange Death of Europe, and you made a big fright. You frightened the entire public about your thoughts on Europe.
Watch Murray here. This is great.
We ended up in Brexit. You weren't the sole contributor to that, but you were a big
Can we
voice.
stick on to the
I will. And then, now we're talking about LGBTQ,
if I may say so
and you're
very
creating.
Quickly,
hang on, you spoke. I'm speaking.
No,
I'm speaking.
I'll
you spoke.
reply.
Yeah, but you're saying nothing. You're saying words that don't mean anything, Ava. I'm sorry.
This is,
I'll reply.
I guess I'm just a woman hater.
One of those misogynists. That's what's going on.
Hello. I haven't
let
finished.
Ava speak, please.
Now, back on the trans issue, when you're talking about LGBTQ, what you've just done there is basically say that the whole of America, who have historically had a problem with gay marriage,
nobody has
now
a
turning
problem.
on it.
Excuse me. Nobody has a problem with gay marriage. Go pound fucking sand. Nobody gives a shit. Well, there's 10% of these evangelicals, they have a problem. I don't care if you get married. If you get married legally, if you're gay or not, you're stupid. Why would you do that? Goddamn, go on.
Because a couple of children in a classroom in Sussex.
Now, how does gay marriage between adults, right? We're talking about, I mean, Douglas Murray is gay, right? And I think he's married. Perhaps he is anyway. How does something between two consenting adults have anything to do with children being told these crazy sex stories and all kinds of bullshit when they're 5 or 6 years old? But go ahead and deflect, Ava, because that's what feminists do. That's what your ilk does, isn't it? Go on.
Want to be a cat. If you can't see the ridiculousness in that argument, I can't help you.
The bigger issue is there is no such thing as gender ideology.
Listen to this guy with
we all have gender identities. You identify as a man, and I fully respect you.
Well, no.
Yeah, Piers Morgan identifies as a man. Right. So do I. I guess it's crazy.
No, hang
crazy
on. Don't identify as a man. I was born a biological male.
Yes. Yeah, I have a penis.
Yes. That's where this whole thing goes rogue. I'll bring you back in, Douglas, as I say. That's where the whole debate goes rogue. You were born a biological male. You were born a biological female. Douglas, biological male. Yep. This is just a fact, right?
No.
Once you start saying there are hundreds of genders, you can identify as anything you want.
No. This is where Piers is wrong. There are 8.1 billion genders because gender expression is your personality. Do you understand that? Right? If you want to dress up like a woman and you're a man, go ahead. Nobody gives a shit. It's not a fucking gender. It's personal expression. You're going
to end up with kids at school going, I'm a horse, and you've got to treat me like a horse.
Piers, you're confusing two things.
No, I'm not.
I'm a tall black man with a huge cock, so you have to treat me as such. No, it doesn't. No, not that, huh? Oh, okay. Well, that's crazy talk. Is it? So tell me about how you're a man when you're a woman, or vice versa.
Sex and gender.
I'm not. I accept. They are being conflated.
Biological sex is one thing which I...
Of course it's being conflated. That's the way these people work.
I totally accept. And so do 99% of the people in the LGBT plus community. Gender is something different. Gender identity is how you see yourself.
It's a personality, you stupid fuck.
And do you believe it's limitless?
It's your personality, my God, man.
No, I don't believe it's limitless.
What's the limit?
What is the limit? And again, okay, I'll let it play for full context, but he eventually gets around to saying, yeah, well, I don't believe in that shit.
Oh, yeah. There was basically male and female and intersex.
Intersex! Excuse me. Intersex people. That's a genetic mutation. It's a birth defect. 1 in every 10,000 people born have this issue. So you can go figure out what the numbers are, right? It's a genetic deformity. It's not getting up in the morning and saying, you know what? Today I think I'm going to be a girl. Oh my God. Or today I'm going to be a hamster. I'm a hamster. Oh my God, you have to express my hamster pronouns, which is furry and cuddly and up somebody's butt. Fuck is that? It's bullshit. Go ahead.
But there are people who have different gender identities.
But how many genders are there?
Well, there is no fixed number.
No fixed number.
So what's the limit?
I don't see a particular limit.
Exactly, Chaos. It's a genetic defect. It's a birth defect is what it is. And if you look into where they come up, well, in this South American country somewhere, they did. That's because they were inbreeding. They were fucking close relatives. That's all right. They'll pull statistics from wherever they can get them to prove whatever crazy shit they have in mind.
There's no limit. So when you said there's no, you said there is a limit. Now you admit there's no limit.
Sorry.
Well,
there is male and female.
Is there a limit or not to the number of genders?
Identity.
No, that's sex. But on gender, is there a limit to the number of genders?
Well, there are some people who are asexual. That's an identity.
No, there are some the BBC.
So asexual means you don't want to fuck people. Okay, that's just your lifestyle. It's your thing. It's not a fucking gender. The hell is this guy talking about?
In education videos, there are 100+ genders.
Yeah, Dern and Iron Knuckles, they were sterile from birth. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Now, I believe Jamie Lee Curtis came out with both parts, if I'm not mistaken. She's the actress. At least that's what I heard. I haven't researched it, but I heard she had, well, she was one of those. One in every 10,000 births. Okay.
Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
So what is the limit?
It's probably 100,000 births. I don't know.
What's the number?
Well, I'm not going to specify a particular number, but it's very small.
But where do you draw the line?
Well, I draw the line.
You might be right, Chaos. I have no idea. I don't care. You know, do what you want. If you're an adult, I don't give a shit. Have fun. Whatever works.
Based on science and evidence. And we know that there is a thing called intersex, where people are born.
Yeah, they're born because they have a birth defect. I know.
Born with a mixture of both.
That is literally what it says on. That's what it says on.
Klinefelter syndrome. Look it up. Feel free.
Female.
That is intersex.
Yeah.
People are born with chromosomes from both, right? That is a medical condition. Yeah. That's inarguable. Right? We're talking about gender.
It's a birth defect, actually, Pierce. But whatever.
And trans identity is also a biological fact.
I know, but once I've
rooted in brain structures and processes.
I understand it, but once people...
No. I'm sorry, Mr. Ty. No. Feminists spent decades saying there's no difference between male and female brains. There's no difference between straight and gay brains. Now you're saying there's a fucking brain difference. Okay, so which is it then? Curious.
New science shows.
But once you get into 100 genders, people can
we're not debating 100 genders.
Well, actually, the BBC has taught kids. This is back to Douglas's point about affecting the brains of impressionable young kids.
Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the BBC if they're saying 100 plus genders.
Okay, Douglas.
Okay, so now, gentlemen, and the one lady once in a while that comes in, listen to Douglas Murray flay this bitch.
Very quickly, I don't know, Ava, anything about your career. I don't know if you have one, but you did try to imply that you knew something about mine, and you just showed you know nothing about it, because actually my 2017 bestseller, something about mine, I don't know if you have. Very quickly, I don't know, Ava, anything about your career. I don't know if you have one, but you did try to imply that you knew something about mine, and you just showed you know nothing about it, because actually my 2017 bestseller, The Strange Death of Europe, was not about the EU. So you should learn at some point to read more than the title of the book before commenting upon it.
It was about migration.
Let me very quickly.
And how rude are you? How rude are you?
Very quickly.
You built a career out of fear-mongering, and you're now importing those evangelical American ideas onto UK television.
You haven't even built a career, have you? You haven't even built a career.
What are you talking about? I'm on the same panel as you, Hun, and we're getting the same...
Do you know what? I'm going to wrap it up by saying you both got wonderful careers, or you wouldn't be on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Transgender.
Douglas Murray has the sharpest knives. Okay, there's one more here. Let me see if I can find it. I probably can't. What did I do with it? Okay. No, I think I lost it. But anyway, you get the point. Yeah, she's a toxic feminist. She has her set ways, and that's it. Women are oppressed. Men are obviously oppressing women. And anything, if the men have a problem, it's their fucking problem. They need to fix it themselves. But we need to have more ministries of women, because women are so oppressed. And same old bullshit. All right. We'll read a few comments. Tom Laundry, she's mad as fuck. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Douglas Murray, just getting on the stage to have Douglas Murray fry your ass like he's getting up in the morning and having coffee. It's amazing. I don't know how this guy does it, but it's amazing shit. Okay. Saint Troglodyte, triggered. Yes, triggered. Shar Anuzabal, what are you saying? I'm at a birthday party. Stopping in to leave a like and say hello. Going to watch that stream tomorrow. All right. Well, thank you, Shar. Good to see you. Thumper says nothing makes a feminist. Yeah. Why are you evil? What are you saying? Oh my God. I'm heading to work. All right. All right. Enough. But bottom line is 3 men have been canceled from GB News in England. And the one that really deserved canceling, I suppose, I'm not in support of that. I mean, you can say whatever you want, free speech, but Yeah, Fox, he shouldn't have attacked her. You know, attack her ideas, not her. Now, Laurence Fox apologized. GB News apologized. I think Ava apologized to the guy at the first video. I think it should be all sorted out. But we all know how this works, don't we? We've got to destroy these people. They must be removed from the public square. Laurence Fox said a bad thing. He had a bad moment. One time in his 45-year life, he said something stupid. We got to put him in the gulag, the digital gulag, so to speak. Yeah, crazy. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. I got to go to fucking work. I will see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.